Hi class. Today we're doing our fourth out of 5 sessions of asana, and these are going to be poses in the prone position, so belly towards the mat. And we're going to be starting in table pose, so I'll get right to it. And as usual, I'll be posting some supplementary information and a little quiz and a place for you to upload some videos or pictures with questions of you doing the practice as well. So picking up from where we were last week, and again, if you want to use the videos in order, that puts together a full practice of what I might usually do myself or teach in a full yoga class. Okay, so we're starting in table pose here, and in this position, you want to check that your hands are directly under your shoulders and your knees are directly under your hips. Start with a straight back, and we'll begin with cat-cow. So in cat-cow, again, also the tops of the feet are resting on the mat here. So in cat-cow, we inhale and look up and sag the back down like a cow. And as you exhale, this is cat, you curl the spine and tuck the chin in. Push up through the palms. Nice big curve. That's an exhale. And then inhale, move up. So these, you can do several of these, and you want to move with your own breath. So after watching once, just close your eyes and do this several times following the pace of your own breath. You'll notice that the movements help you to fully fill the lungs as you're arching the back upward, and then fully empty the lungs as you're crunching in. So again, inhale, curving up. Exhale, tucking the chin, arching your back. Inhale up. Exhale down. And we'll continue this movement. Coming first to a flat back, we're going to lift the back right leg and the front left arm. As you inhale, point your toes and fingers out. Exhale, curl under. Bring your knee towards your forehead. Inhale out. Exhale, curl under. Elbow in, knee in. Inhale out. Exhale, curl under. And then we're going to switch sides and do the same thing. So a little bit of balancing. Inhale, reach out. Exhale, curve under. Inhale, reach out. Exhale, curl in. And then one more time. You can go nice and slow, following your own breath. And a variation I usually add on the last extension in these positions is reaching back and grabbing the top of your foot. So I'll show you that. So we'll go back to right foot back, left arm forward. So bend your knee, reach back to the top of the foot, and lift that foot behind you. We'll do the same on the other side. Very important, don't pull on the foot. Just lift the foot using your strength in your leg. Because if you pull on the foot, you can injure your knee, and you don't want to do that. So we'll do the same thing on the other side. Bend the knee, hold the foot, lift it using your own strength in your leg. And then this is called threading the needle. So back to flat back. We take our right hand and thread it through the hole on the left side between the arm and the leg, and just relax down onto your shoulder. Feeling your muscles all throughout your back, releasing. And if you feel like you want to try a variation, you can bring that foot out. Sometimes I can kind of flop my whole body over. It didn't happen on that side, so if it happens on the other side, you'll see what that looks like. But otherwise, you can just bring your foot out as a variation, and you end up bringing your other arm over into a twist. I think later in the day, sometimes it's easier for me because I'm more warmed up. So we'll do the same on the other side. So we'll bring our left hand through. And first take several breaths, just releasing all throughout the back. We're going to take a few breaths. And then you can bring the toe out near the fingertips. And you have to listen to your body because you don't want to pull anything in your neck or your shoulders in that kind of twist position. You might just start with the leg out first. Leave the twist until you've practiced that several times or you're nice and warmed up. Now we're going to go into downward dog. We'll curl the toes under, push back into downward dog. And remember, in downward dog, we're pushing the heels toward the mat, pushing back up through the palms, letting the head hang. Your tailbone is pointing up toward the ceiling with a straight back. We'll lift the left leg up in the air. And if you want to do the variation, you can twist to look at the left foot. Inhale the foot up, exhale it down. Inhale the right foot up, twist to look at it. Inhale up, exhale it down. Now, we're bringing the left knee forward into seated pigeon. And in this position, some people will be comfortable bringing the front of the shin up kind of even with the mat. Some people may need it closer to their hip. I'm kind of in between right now. And here, we can arch our back to look up. You can bring your whole torso forward and rest on your elbows with your head in your palms. And we'll add a twist if you like, bringing both arms toward the left side. And resting down onto the shoulders. Now I'm kind of walking my hands back to do a Bhujangasana variation with the leg forward. Now the next one, I'm going to be reaching back to hold on to my foot. You can watch first. This can be a nice stretch for stretching your knees. If you have any knee problems, I wouldn't try this pose. So you're going to reach back for your knee, or sorry, for your foot. And you can pull your foot in gently. And I'm leaning out to one side. And then back. And the same on the other, but in order to switch sides, we'll do downward dog first to give your whole body an equal stretch. And then we'll bring the right knee forward. You'll be able to see differently now that I'm on the other side. And we'll stretch forward, walking the hands out. You can rest the head on the palms. Adjusting to what feels comfortable for you. So if you can't go forward very far, of course, use your arms, use your elbows, whatever feels comfortable. You may just walk your hands out a little bit to allow your torso to come down. And then adding a twist, we'll reach our arms to the right side and lay down. Take a few nice deep breaths. And in this position, you feel your hip opening up from the outside. Okay, so that leg and knee stretch. So I start by reaching my leg back, and then I'll bend it and reach for the top of the foot. Exhale, kind of arching up. Then I hold on to the top of the foot, and I lean onto my hand and outward. That gives a very nice stretch along the outside of the thigh. Be careful in that position. I've heard that it's good for runners. It's a good stretch for your knee. But again, all of these move slowly and listen to your body. So now we're moving into Ashtanga position, which you have done in your sun salutations. That's chest, knees, and chin on the mat. And then we'll come into prone position. I'm noticing that my microphone is probably going to be all muffled, so I'm going to move it Try it here. So starting prone position, we're going to have the tops of our feet on the mat, our palms down on the mat next to our legs, and our chin on the mat. So we'll start with Ekapad Shalabhasana. That's lifting up one leg. Ek means one, pad means leg, and Shalabhasana is locust pose. So we're going to lift the left leg behind us. And then bring it down. We'll lift the right leg next. You can bring both palms of your hands facing up underneath your hips to protect your hips on the mat. And then keep your feet together. You're going to lift both legs together. This is full Shalabhasana. And there are a few variations we can do. So if you hook your hands behind you, this is Shalabhasana with no hand support. I have to check the Sanskrit word. And another variation is we'll bring our arms forward and put our palms together. Sometimes I call it Superman pose, you'll see. So we'll bring our forehead to the mat. We're going to lift our torso and our legs at the same time. Keeping your neck in line with the spine. Okay. Then I'm pushing up from my palms into Cobra pose. And notice here, there are several variations we're going to do of Cobra. I'm going to stop the video because it looks like my battery is low. Just a minute. So we were picking up in different variations of Cobra pose. So we're going to be doing a few in a row, starting, and we're going to be adjusting where our hands are each time. So first we're starting with our hands next to our ears and pushing up, then our shoulders, then our chest, then our waist, then our hips. And you'll notice it gives you a different stretch in your back each time. If possible, in Bhujangasana, Cobra, you want to keep your feet together and focus on keeping your shoulders down and back, and your back strong, and your back arching out and up. You don't want to put all of the weight on your lower back, and you'll feel it if you do, and that will cause unnecessary strain. So you want to focus on the up and back motion. So with the feet together, tops of the feet down, we start with our forehead on the mat, and we're pushing up with the palms next to the ears as we start. You can keep your elbows bent and just go as far as you want to, as far as it's comfortable. Actually, I'm gonna go backwards one step. This is called Vakrahasta Bhujangasana, bent arms, bent arm Cobra pose. You're gonna put your elbows on the mat and rest your chin in your hands. Sometimes I call this slumber party pose. Just like you're hanging out at a slumber party. Talk to your friends. Close your eyes and take several breaths here. Just feel your spine extending and relaxing. Allow your neck to completely release and relax. And I can't talk when I'm putting my palms on my chin, so I'm just going to take a few breaths, and you should too. Let your shoulders relax. Now in this position, you can do several variations, and you should try several different things. You can bring your elbows farther forward, or you can bring your elbows in closer to the body. You can open them wide, or you can bring them together. So let's try each style, keeping your shoulders relaxed each time. We can bring our elbows forward. Take a nice deep breath like that. Bring your elbows in with the body. Bring your elbows out wide. Finding a comfortable position. For me, elbows together and farther away from my chest is a nice stretch for my neck and back. And bring your palms together and just rest your head down, forehead on the mat. Okay, so we're going to go into our different Bhujangasana variations. Let's skip the ear one since we just did it. So we're going to move our palms next to the shoulders this time. Roll the shoulders back and up. Bringing the back up. Head looking upward too. And exhale down. Resting the forehead on the mat. Now walk the hands back to the chest. Exhale. As you inhale, roll the shoulders back and push up. Exhale down. Inhale. Exhale. Bring the hands back to the waist. Roll the shoulders back and push up. Exhale down. And now here, we're taking a resting pose. This is called Makarasana, or crocodile pose. We're bringing our feet wide. Turn your toes outward. Can't see my toes that well on the video, but you're going to turn your toes outward. Feet wide. Put one palm on top of the other and rest your forehead. You can either rest your forehead directly on the back of your hand, or you can turn your head to one side. For a balance, you can rest a little while with your left hand on top and then switch and put your right hand on top. You may turn your head to one side and then the other side. Well, let's take several deep breaths here. This is a resting pose. You can choose whichever position is most comfortable. I like to turn my head to one side. And then I switch my hands and I go to the other side. Relaxing your shoulders, relaxing your back. Makarasana, crocodile pose. Now from here, we'll bring our foreheads to the mat. You may want to clean your mat before this. I used to get grossed out in yoga class, putting my face on people's mats, but I guess I'm over it. So bend your knees, and we're going to reach back for the tops of our feet. And keep your forehead on the mat. We're going to, if you can, turn your fingertips to face your toes. Forget what this is called. I'll look it up, but it gives a nice stretch throughout your back. Okay. Then we're going to grab the tops of our feet again. And we're going to lift up. Lift your torso. Now here, don't pull on your feet. Just lift your legs using your own strength and lift your torso using your own strength. You don't want to pull on your feet. You want to lift your feet using your own strength of your legs. You'll notice that your breath causes you to rock a little bit. And then bring the knees back down, back to Makarasana, feet turned out. Be very careful of your knees in those positions. Don't pull on your legs. That was called, I think some people call it basket pose in gymnastics. That's called Dhanurasana, bow pose that we just did. And if you remember from last week, we were doing Akarna Dhanurasana. That was bow and arrow pose. Okay, so now we're coming up onto our elbows. I am keeping my feet turned out. I'm going to come up onto my knees as well and then walk back into like a froggy pose. I'm on my knees. Feet still out. You can walk your elbows back as far as is comfortable. And then I kind of bring my feet in and sit up. Take a few breaths in this wide leg Vajrasana pose. And then This is where I usually transition into the laying down or supine poses by going into sitting back onto my feet if I can without falling. Some people can do that really well. But I think before we finish today, let's do Vajrasana. So this is another meditative posture that you can do. We'll be doing breathing techniques in a couple weeks. And this is one option for sitting. You can sit in Vajrasana or you can sit in lotus pose, Padmasana, or there are a few other options. So in Vajrasana, let's just put our hands, palms down on our knees and take a few deep breaths. Inhale your arms up, extend your spine. Bring your palms together. Then we're going to exhale and lean forward. All the way down to the mat. Rest your forehead down. This is called child's pose. Let's take several deep breaths here. Child's pose can be really useful for calming down. If you find yourself being, too excited or even anxious, this is a very good pose for just resting and calming down. It's a releasing, passive pose. Just take deep breaths and feel your back release with each breath. We're going to take several deep breaths here. You can have your arms forward, or you can tuck your arms back by your feet. And then when you come up, walk your hands little by little back towards the knees. Roll your shoulders back and down. Keep your eyes closed. Stay focused on how you feel in your calm, deep breath. Take several breaths here. And that's our practice for today. So let's end by sitting cross-legged. Last week we learned about Padmasana or lotus pose. You can either bring one leg on top or sit cross-legged, however is comfortable for you, or you can take Padmasana or lotus pose. Let's inhale our arms up. We're just going to do a nice extension of our spine. Turn the palms upward with your fingers interlaced. And as we exhale, let's lean to the left side. You can drop one arm down to support you. Releasing all throughout the right side of the body. Inhale to come up. Again, palms up, fingers interlaced. Exhale to the right side. Dropping the right arm down to support you if you like. Releasing all through the left side of the body. Inhale to come up. Palms together. Exhale, arms down. Roll your shoulders a little to relax. And that's it for today. Those are our asanas in prone position. And I hope you enjoy. I look forward to seeing your practices and your pictures and your questions.